Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
It's time for another daily dose of Dismal Disney.
Yep.
Maybe. We're going to talk about this tweet thread from Emily Zanotti. Who is she? She writes for Fox News. So There you go. Just a disclaimer. But I had a friend send this thread over, and Emily here was talking about how Disney doesn't want your kids anymore. They don't want families anymore. They want rich millennials, rich Gen Z.
They just want rich people in general. I mean, whether they have kids or not, but they want people with money, which we've been saying, the whales. That's what they call them. That they're like making they're like $400,000 a year or something like that. They're called the whales. They want people that are making more money, hence the upcharges, hence the $6,000 weekend experiences starting price. Hence the hotel ridiculous prices.
Yeah, I mean, we have talked about this at length, and this more and more it's becoming obvious that Disney doesn't want the middle class. They don't want middle class families. That's okay. Universal will take them. They're actually building more and more like family value suites and that sort of thing.
And then they're going to have Epic Universe, which is going to wipe the floor with Disney. In my opinion, they're going to put Universal Monsters in there. Mario. Like Super Nintendo, that was the How to Your Dragon, Universal Monsters rumored, more Wizarding World.
Yeah,
they're going a whole other park. They're going to give Disney a hemorrhoid.
They're going to be a pain in Disney's ass.
And then an aneurysm. So.
Oh no, yeah. So I think Mario is definitely going to hurt Disney for sure. So we're gonna talk about this though anyway, because there's been a lot of discussion about Disney changing its focus, and people of course are probably gonna put the pieces together about the direction Disney's going politically with the audience that they're trying to court. We've seen it at least for the last 5 or 7 years that every time you go to some kind of like media event or something, it's all about they want upscale Instagram influencers, and they keep promoting vacations for childless couples and that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about that. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Over 262,000 subs. Thank you for the support. We do talk a lot about Disney, having worked in and around the company for a number of years, having been on their approved media list for a number of years.
Now on their shit list.
Now we're on another list.
That's right.
It's not as magical. It's a different Disney list. But so I thought this was an interesting thread. Again, I had a friend send it over, and it was basically a retweet of Disney World demand leaving guests canceling their costly vacations from this guy who's from the Cato Institute. They were actually tweeting retweeting an article from Inside the Tragic.
That's what we call it.
Inside the Magic.
Well, we're going to look at what they're saying, but I have some things I can tell you what I'm seeing. I run the Disney blog part, and I'm on these different groups and things, and I see different people are saying, and I'm going to tell you what I'm hearing in regards to people canceling their trips. But you go ahead and start with this, and then I'll talk about what I'm actually hearing.
All right, thread incoming. Oh my God.
How long is this?
I don't know.
All right.
I'll just go to the reader here.
Grab your butts and get some popcorn.
All right. The Disney reservation system is inscrutable, but the article drives home what I've been saying since all the Disney parks changes dropped. Disney is shifting focus to its most lucrative market, weird Disney adults who travel without kids.
I don't necessarily agree with that completely. I just think it's the lucrative market of those who have more money. I don't necessarily think it's just those who don't have kids, even though it is interesting because Disney kept mentioning, Chapa kept mentioning in the investor calls, we're surprised to learn that half our subscribers for Disney Plus don't have kids. That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, again, a lot of their experiences lately that they've been rolling out, even the whole retheme of Disney Springs, it's all about catering to an upscale hipster crowd. And this is, going along with what they're doing right now with the luxury homes and all this other stuff.
That's true. The story living, which but they're going to break ground on that soon. They had that announcement after they announced their affordable housing.
Yeah, right.
They were trying to, circumvent the bad PR, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that. So the purpose of limiting ride passes, making every convenience an added cost, adding exclusive, mostly kid-free experiences, eliminating many perks for lower-cost Disney resorts. It's all designed to milk cash out of the childless.
I'm not understanding where the mostly kid-free experiences are coming from.
I don't know.
Because most of the experiences, are family-related. I mean, you can do it without kids, or you can do it with kids. It sounds really wrong, especially when you're talking about Florida. But, I'm just saying... I don't think that they're being exclusionary as far as kids are concerned so much as they're trying to be exclusionary about who has the money.
Yeah, and look, I mean, I'm gonna be honest here. A lot of times, not always, but a lot of times, blue collar, working class family with a lot of kids, they don't have the disposable income.
Right.
That
kids are expensive.
Yes, that a child-free couple or maybe a retired couple or a family that has fewer children would have.
Well, there was a while there. They were targeting grandparents.
Yes.
Specifically because, the parents can't afford to bring the kids, but grandma and grandpa can. So they were targeting grandparents. Bring your grandkids to Disney.
They cycle. I'm sitting here thinking about like all the different PR things I've been to, and it seems like they get a flavor of the month, and they have they do their their data analysis, and they take a look at who's spending the most at Disney. That's who we're gonna chase. And for a while it was the grandparents. I know they were trying to sell DVC to the grandparents to be like, oh, give your family. Disney Vacations Legacy. And,
yeah, and I do think 100% they definitely want people who have money that might not have kids to come to the parks, and I 100% agree with that. But I think it's more about the money and who has the money, and people without kids tend to have more disposable income than those who have kids. So I guess in a roundabout way it is true, but I don't think that was the intent, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think they were just looking for the most amount of money with the least amount of hassle. I mean, we've said before, if Disney could just line you all up in the parking lot and get a vacuum and just suck the money out of your
and then not give you anything other than buying more of their shit, they would totally do it.
Like lots of screens on all their rides. I guess Guardians of the Galaxy, there's not even a single animatronic in it.
I don't know. I just know it's been, so far what I'm hearing, it's pretty screen heavy. I haven't seen yet. I mean, I didn't say there was no animatronics. I don't know if there are or not. But what we're seeing from the queue, because all we've seen so far, was a lot of screens.
Well, yeah, screens are easier to fix. I mean, look at, they've got these really expensive animatronics, like in Pandora, they've got the shaman, and she breaks every other day, and they wind up having to replace her with a screen anyway.
Well, there is a screen that comes down. She doesn't break that often, but when she breaks, they do bring a screen down.
Yeah.
She creeps me out either way. Oh, God, I find that thing creepy as hell.
She's huge.
I won't ride Navi River anymore because it's just like, I hate that thing.
Really?
So if I have to stand in line for something, I'll Flight of Passage maybe, which is also a giant screen, but
it is, but it's like my favorite
Expedition Everest or something like that I would do, but I just Navi River, it's like I'd rather ride It's a Small World. I'm not saying something.
Yeah, well, it's because the children aren't 12 foot tall. If they were, that'd be horrifying. Anyway, this isn't to say it's the wrong decision for them. Kids don't have money. I think it's limiting in the long term, but Disney presupposes that it in nostalgia-driven culture will continue to exist.
Disney presupposes a lot of things. Like if we just slap Star Wars on something, people are going to pay for it.
Yeah. I'll probably pick a less stressful vacation or a more extended stay somewhere like Fort Wilderness, where there's a kid-centric culture, or wait until I'm a childless Disney adult in about 18 years.
Well, Fort Wilderness is a great place to stay. I want to point that out. I haven't been there in a while, but Fort Wilderness is always a really cool place because they have so much to do. Like you can go and stay at the campgrounds, and they have like all different kind of activities. They have campfires. I mean, they have the Hoop-de-Doos coming back, and that's there. It's cool. You take you can take the boat over to Magic Kingdom. I personally think Fort Wilderness is awesome, with kids or without. So I would recommend that. But that's me.
This person said, we live near Disneyland. It's gross, geared to adults disconnected from reality. The kids always prefer the national parks in California to the freak show.
Well, I'll tell you what, California, especially, there's a lot of these Instagram I'm an influencer. You see that crazy over there. It's Florida too, but not as bad.
Yeah, I'll say that because that was one thing that came up during one of the PR things I went to when they were opening Pixar Pier. They were talking about the Instagram culture and the influencers, and they were literally catering to the kinds of people she's talking about in Disneyland. The problem is sometimes Disneyland influences what goes on in Disney World, even though Disneyland's revenue is a fraction of what Disney World's is.
Well, I can tell you from experience at Disney World, these people show up, and it's a scene, it's a circus. I was there one time when you were at a media event at Disney World, and I was going in, and I was at the park by myself as Magic Kingdom, and I came through the castle, and there on the bench by Pinocchio's was a woman and her boyfriend, and he was holding all her shit and trying to take her pictures, she kept posing every day, like 100 different ways. And that was one trip. And you couldn't get anywhere. You had to go way around them because they were making such a big scene, taking up so much room. And then on another trip, I was there and I wanted to go get a picture by the well, the wishing well by Cinderella's castle. And I was there by myself because you had taken the kids someplace else. And there was this woman who was sitting on a bench with her mom, taking picture to picture to picture. And there was me and there was another couple. It was a gay couple was waiting and then some other people were waiting to get pictures. And she would not leave. And then the other people come up to her and like, oh my God, are you Instagram influencer? Oh my God, give me your username. And she's like sitting there flipping her hair. And meanwhile, this line's getting longer. And people just want a damn picture with the well, lady. Move your ass. And she would not leave. She was holding court in this location, wouldn't let anybody else into it. I eventually got fed up and just left. Because it was so ridiculous. But that's what happens. You have these very self-absorbed people trying to hog a whole section so they can take pictures of themselves. Not only taking pictures of their kids, they're taking pictures of their damn selves.
Yeah, Disneyland is way worse about that. And I think you see fewer families too. And, it's next to LA. So
because Disneyland is different too in the fact that, like, Disney World, you have to go for several days. Disneyland's more of a locals park. And people come to it, but it's more locals than it is.
I think in some ways it's easier to be an influencer maybe in Disney. Well, okay, because influencer culture ground zero is LA. And, if you had an annual pass, I don't even think they're doing that. Are they doing that? Still doing that out there?
Yeah, they were.
They reinstated them?
They were doing some that were frozen, but they were, I haven't been keeping track, to be honest with you.
But I know, like, when I'd gone back to Disneyland for the first time in many, many years, now I grew up going to Disneyland in the summers. And not World. I didn't go World.
And I grew up going to Disney World.
Yeah, so it is very different. Even from what it was when I was a kid. And it was like we used to get annoyed if we had international tourists, taking photos back then. But now
back then, yeah. But back then, it was they were really obnoxious.
Big ass cameras.
I remember that. We'd see them at different. We'd go to Niagara Falls and they'd be acting like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about because I ran into it too.
Yeah, we had that all the time out there. But yeah, like the first thing I noticed when I went out to Disneyland after having not been out there for several years was like, oh my God, there's some like YouTube guy or whatever with the selfie stick, and everywhere I went, there was a selfie stick and an influencer attached to it. And it was crazy.
I've been at events where we sat there for like a long time trying to get a good spot. And then as his event starts, here comes a stick with a boom mic and a camera in front of my face. We were at one event and we stood there. Was getting sunburned standing there just to do this event, cover it for our job. And this dipshit shoves his camera in front of my face. I literally turned sideways and took his damn picture because I was like, what the hell are you doing?
Oh my God! That one time at Disney World, I think it was Animal Kingdom's 20th anniversary. That one influencer was trying to frame it to look like she was actually sitting in the VIP section. Do you remember that, where she had her whole setup and her whatever, and she kind of was like leaning in, like, oh look, I'm in the cool kid spot with all the other influencers, whatever. But she actually wasn't. She was in like the level above them. And was kind of leaning in like, oh, look, there's so-and-so from this blog and so-and-so from that blog.
I don't remember.
I'm here with them.
The point is that these influencers do come in and make it very, some of them are very friendly and are very great and they're very courteous to other people. And then there are some that are not. And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think we're going to see a lot of cancellations for a lot of reasons.
Okay, let me talk about that now, okay?
Okay.
So let's talk about some cancellations. Yes, guests are canceling their trip, but it's not because of the ways some people are talking about. Like a lot of people I know are because of the Florida bill. Like guests are canceling trip because of Florida bill. And yes, some guests are canceling because of that. Most people are not. I'm just going to be completely honest with you. A lot are not. I think I know people are canceling Disney Plus and things like that. I know people that have. But like as far as trips goes, the reason I'm hearing people are canceling the trips is usually because they're so sick of Disney's shit in regards to the theme parks, because it's very convoluted now. It used to be you go to the theme parks, you get in line, you ride your rides. Then they did the fast passes, but you could book them out ahead, and then you could do it on your phone or online, or they had paper tickets first, so they moved everything online. It was very convenient. You rode your fast passes. If you wanted more, you can get them after you use your 3.
Yeah.
It's pretty straightforward. They were free. Now they're doing the stupid Genie app. And the Genie app is a clusterfuck of epic proportions. I have seen so many complaints. If you don't do the upcharge lightning lane, it tries to take you to lanes and rides that are trying to control the crowds. So it's sending people into these other places where it doesn't make sense to send them. And then if you pay for the lightning lane for $15 per person per day, you have to be up at the crack of dawn or you don't get any. There's some people that are paying it and they're not being able to get any lightning lanes at all, or not until like the end of the day. And it's a cluster.
Yeah, and people were mentioning that in the comments too. They're like, it's gotten a lot more complicated to book a trip.
Right.
A lot more expensive and a lot more complicated. I mean, yeah, does this dovetail with Disney wanting the guests that have the most disposable income? Yeah, it does, because again, it's supply and demand. There's a finite amount of.
Well, you can go get a VIP tour guide, and then you don't have to do any of it. And then beyond that, if you want to pay for those attractions like the big ones, you want to pay to go to the front of the line, you can for a lot more money. So again, it's catering to those with money. Otherwise, people it will stand in line. And we're hearing from people too that when this happens, they used to do this Fast Pass, where they'd let 10, 20 Fast Pass people into like 10 people of the regular line. But I guess it's gotten significantly worse. Yeah. People are just, they're letting so many of the lightning lane in, and the lightning lanes are just booked. Some of the lines for that seem longer than the regular standby. It's just a cluster. And then on top of that, you can't even get into the parks unless you have a theme park reservation now. So you have to jump through so many hoops, and it's for the expense, and there are too many people, and they can't ride the attractions, and because of it, it's just no fun, and you're not getting to do jack shit. So people are like, why am I spending money on this?
Yeah, it's not worth it. I mean, I would honestly tell somebody if you had, $5,000 or whatever, and you saved up, and that was like a once-in-a-lifetime trip, I would not spend it on a Disney theme park. I would go to like Europe or something.
Yeah, you could do a lot more. Yeah. It's just gotten to the place where people are canceling because it's too convoluted. It's too expensive. It's not worth the hassle. You can't even walk sometimes. It's just, and then the food prices and everything just keeps going up and up and up. And I'm going to tell you right now, they're having a Magic Band shortage now.
Yeah, that was interesting, and that could be because of plastics. I know, I tweeted yesterday, we were at Walmart, and almost overnight, Transformers have like gone through the roof. The price of Transformers, like, figures that were like $17 or $18 last week are now like $25. And I knew something was up because, we buy toys from Entertainment Earth, and they sent a letter out just, hey, customers, just so you know, Hasbro toys are going up across the board. It's just Hasbro so far, but I imagine everybody else will probably follow suit. And yeah, they are, and it could be the Magic Band.
Yeah, they said the Magic Band's a supply issue. I think it's probably because of that kind of stuff.
Chip shortage.
Well, it could be that too. Because we're seeing all these shortages, and now that's going to be a problem. Now, however, luckily now you can just use your phone. You don't have to use a Magic Band, but I think Magic Bands are just easier to me. Anyway, go ahead. That's what I'm hearing on the places I'm at.
Yeah, no, I just think it's interesting that there's all this talk about who Disney is for, and hypothetically speaking, I can see where people would believe that if they're not interested in families, then they really don't care if families get upset by certain political stances or whatever. Anyway, they're going to go after who they're going to go after because it makes sense for them, bottom line. And I don't know. I don't know, guys.
I don't know. I'm just telling you what I'm hearing. And what I'm hearing people canceling is more to do with how difficult Disney has made it and how expensive it's become. And we're not talking just people with kids. I'm talking about people across the board. People who don't have kids are telling me the same thing, and I'm hearing the same thing.
It's too expensive. And I think, it's a lot of perks. I mean, especially if people are talking like potential food shortages and all this other stuff. Like Disney World, Disneyland is going to become even more exclusive because the general public will not be able to go. And Disney knows this. This is why they're building luxury houses. This is why they're pushing the cruise lines.
This is why they have like almost $1,000 plastic bejeweled 50th anniversary ears. And you think I'm kidding, and I'm completely serious.
Yeah. They know who can afford Disney now. And if people are willing to pay for it, I mean, they'd rather have 10 people a day show up shelling out millions of dollars than having...
Who's going to shell millions of dollars?
Well, I'm just saying, like, if they could do it, if it was plausible, they would cater to super, super wealthy people.
We know that if you stay at the deluxe hotels, there are theme parks, extra hours that only they get to go to.
Yeah.
So if you spend more money for the hotel, you get to go have extra time in the parks without all the riffraff. I mean, they raised the prices.
They've been doing that for the last couple of years.
Jacked the prices of the VIP tour guides significantly. Because if you have the tour guide, you have the park tickets, they just take you to wherever you want to go and get you on the ride. And it's like having unlimited fast passes. And they're, so they have all this other stuff, and they're trying to force people, and people with money are doing it.
Yeah.
I've had a tour guide. It's nice.
It's nice, yeah, but it's a lot more.
Not that they jack the price.
Yeah, they jack the prices up on that because people were using it as a cheat. They're like, well, what's an extra $1,000 if I'm already $10,000 into a trip?
But I'm like a 6-figure income. You know?
Yeah. So it's like, well, if
I'm a whale.
I'm a whale. Yeah. So let's address the size of those ride vehicles, and if you're gonna fatten everybody, that's why they want to cut down the portions at Disney per their CFO, because everybody's too fat and they can't cheap out on the size of the ride vehicles if everybody's too fat to get in the rides.
They're probably thinking if we make everybody thinner, it'll cost less to operate the rides.
Won't take as much for the roller coaster to get to the top of the lift hill.
If you're over a certain weight, you can't come to Disney.
Oh my God, they'll weigh you.
Or you have to pay extra per pound.
They'll weigh you. They'll separate you from your wallet, and then they'll weigh your wallet and be like, "Is the wallet weigh enough?" I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if we want them, but yeah, I think it's gonna become more and more exclusive. I do.
I do too, but I don't necessarily think it's so much specifically about families as much as it is that the people that usually don't have kids have more money.
That is true.
And I think it just works out that way.
Yep.
But yeah.
Yep. So anyway, we're gonna wrap this up.
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.
Now he's just tasty, delicious, rotten flesh meat, which I can consume. Don't read into it too much.
Just like our museum, the cafe's open and Brewster is eager to serve. I don't think this was in the show. Run. Oh, you got splatted. Oh, she was begging and you kicked her in the face.
I don't care.
Hey guys, Squid King here, and today we're in a...
Not girl boss at all. She is not a material girl.
She is not. Oh, it's Christmas time here in your mom. Nobody wants to join your mom.
What?
Like I can't even cook kid cuisine right. I would last about 2 minutes with Gordon Ramsay.
What? Where is he?
He's hiding. He's hiding from you.
Better.
Oh my God, you got the axe.
Walker, does this look like Steven Universe? Let me punch him. Well, I'm just here for the wax. Right where you belong.
Get in the dirt.
Well, that was a combination of events I probably shouldn't have put together. Anyways, let's open this bottle too.
Chica pinata. Is that official?
Oh, no.
There's a bootleg.
Hello. I'm sorry.
Hey guys, it's Diamond Tool.
Let's make a farm.
Like and subscribe and buy my merch.
I mean, while you're here, you guys should really like and subscribe and buy our merch, all of which we have.
That is true. You can't run them carrying trash. You can get away with one F-bomb per PG-13 movie.
I wish I'd known that sooner.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to wrap this effer up.
Yes.